Manny here. Learn to Fight, back with another video. And throughout the years, there's a lot of amazing fighters that we learn from and we gain from. Today we're going over Bas Rutten. Bas Rutten, there's a lot of new MMA fans out there, a lot of guys who don't know about guys like Bas Rutten, don't know about guys like Kimo Leopoldo back in the day. These are old school guys, Royce Gracie. These are old school guys. But Bas Rutten was like, he was basically one of the first guys in MMA to come in and have incredible kickboxing and good jiu-jitsu. He was piecing people up. He made the liver shot famous. He fought in Pancrase in Japan. But sometimes I'd wonder, like, damn, how did these guys train back in the day? Because they didn't have a King's MMA. They didn't have American Top Team. They didn't have YouTube. They didn't have these things. They didn't have great gyms to train at. And MMA was so new that a lot of guys didn't really know what they were doing. So how did these guys train back in the day? So you had guys like Bas Rutten. He actually shows us one of his workouts. So let's check it out.
Hey there, everybody. Bas Rutten here in my gym in Westlake Village, Bas Rutten's Elite MMA. Today, I'm going to show you a mixed martial arts workout. Every exercise, we're going to do 50 seconds, which gives you 10 seconds to go to the next exercise. 12 exercises. We're going to do this 3 times. Good luck with it.
Again, when it comes to MMA training, it's mostly about cardio. It's mostly about a lot of jumping movements, explosive movements, burpees, things like this. This is where it's at. So even if you don't fight MMA, but you're trying to train and functionally train and work out and still gain something and become a better fighter, just from working out, you want to add these types of exercises into your workouts: sprawls, jumps, knees, But this is how they trained back in the day. This is how they trained in the 90s. Someone like Bas Rutten, I'm sure he did a lot of his training by himself when he was over there in Japan and stuff like that. This is the type of stuff that they were doing.
Accelerate. Accelerate. That was my workout. Godspeed.
And that was interesting. There's a few things that I haven't really seen before. I've never seen someone really do that twist exercise he was doing in the end. The jump squats are great. I love those, especially doing jump squats and doing kicks. Like, let's say you do like 100 kicks and 100 jump squats. I love that. The sprints are great. I think sprints is one of the best exercises you could possibly do. Super highly underrated. And I found myself doing sprints twice a week made me hit way harder and just made me a better all fighter all around. Just doing sprints alone. So yeah, that's very interesting. The kettlebells. So if you're training and you want to become a better fighter, or you want to just become a better person who's in shape and switch it up, add these workouts in. This is how they trained back in the day. And we can see someone like Bas Rutten, he was a great fighter back in the day. And I honestly believe he would still be a great fighter today. Even though the game has evolved so much, he had an incredible body shot, incredible liver shot, and he had incredible kicks. He was clearly a very tough guy as well. Super tough, dangerous guy in the cage and in the ring. So, and he didn't need no, super camp. He didn't need no, when we talk about Bas Rutten, who was his coach? I couldn't tell you. I honestly could not tell you. You ask me who George St. Pierre's coach is, I could easily say Firas Zahabi. You know, you ask me who John Jones coaches, Greg Jackson. You know, Mike Winkeljohn for a while. You ask me who Dominic Cruz's coach is, I believe it was Eric Del Friero. You know, Nick Diaz coach, Cesar Gracie, right? But when we talk about these old school dudes, who was Bas Rutten's coach? A lot of these guys, I don't believe they really had coaches. They had martial arts instructors growing up, learning the moves, learning this stuff, and then they started fighting, and they had to figure it out on their own. You know, so much respect to these guys. Like, think about it. Who was Tank Abbott's coach? You know what I'm saying? I couldn't tell you. Who was Maurice Smith's coach? I have no idea. Maurice Smith was a guy who came into MMA and really showed that kickboxing can work, because in the beginning of MMA, it was mostly wrestlers just dominating. And Maurice Smith came in with the leg kicks, and he just kind of evolved the game, you know, and really changed the game. But when we look at all these old school guys, you know, they had to train by themselves, and they had to figure things out on their own. And I think this type of information is stuff that we can learn a lot from. And Bas Rutten is one of the best fighters ever. So I'm going to definitely be trying out that workout, and I think you guys should try it out as well. Much love. Peace.